Hey everybody, welcome back to the Laps Comic Fan. I'm Lady Steve and I got boobs.
Welly! Welcome back to the Labs Comic Fan. I'm Steve. Loki, episode 2, The Variant. What did y'all think? Fucking loved it. Cool. I'm going to talk about 3 topics for me that might lead to other discussion, but for me, these are 3 things that stuck out. If something else stuck out to you, write it in the comments. You know, I'm not going to be able to get everything at all times. Spoilers ahead. Just throwing the warning out there for everybody. Also, like and subscribe. That really helps out, guys. But comment also so we can have conversation. So, one of the major things that stuck out to me was the conversation between Mobius and Renslayer, where Mobius says, you know, how are the timekeepers? He's never met or seen them. So that's crazy, right? That they have like that. We see that there's hierarchy, you know, because of her office and his cubicle and all the stuff that she has and all the stuff that he would like, including a jet ski. Oh, that was funny. But there's, like, if you're an agent and all you believe is in this, that he doesn't get held up too much on belief, but what is? How could you, you know, without, I guess, see, unless they're programmed, since they were created, they might be programmed. I mean, how do you, you know, do that without, especially your whole life's mission, without ever seeing these people, especially when it deals with time so much, you know? How do you know it's wrong for someone to be displaced from time, or this person to make this decision? You know, we're following someone else, like they had that discussion of free will. So there's a lot of deep themes in the show that they're talking about, to me. And I know I talk scattered, so I'm sorry. That's the way my brain works. So it leads me to believe that there's a friend of mine out there in YouTube land that talked about, he thought he had a little theory that Mobius was kind of investigating the TVA, because it seems like the more we have conversations with Mobius and other people in the TVA, he's asking about the timekeepers, and they really hit on the timekeepers whenever Loki had to go down to the library and stuff, and he had to look up the information, and they held the shot on the timekeepers. And Mobius, in the conversation, when he brought up the timekeepers, he was like that one, and then Renslayer kind of cut him off. There's some wild theories about Renslayer, because her association with Kang in the comics, that some people think that Kang's screwing with time. It's not really the timekeepers. There's a bunch of crazy stuff. We'll move on from that topic, but we'll go to the next one, and we could always circle back in this scattered conversation. The reveal of Lady Loki, and I use those in air quotes because a lot of people were talking. Some people noticed at the end of the episode during the credits, they had her listed as Sylvie, and I believe Sylvia Ludgko, or I can't remember the name, but that's Enchantress. That's Enchantress's name in the comics, and that would be cool because that opens up a whole nother dynamic, a whole other crazy level of storytelling, and doesn't explain why she had the Loki headband on. I mean, maybe it does. Does she wear that? I don't know. I can't remember. So yeah, that's a cool storytelling element if it is. If it's not, and it's just Lady Loki, she doesn't want to be called that. That was another clue. She wants to be called Randy, so she will be known as Randy. So Randy, you know, it could be Enchantress, it could be Lady Loki. But I thought that was cool. I thought that was a neat reveal of it being a girl. I thought that was awesome, or a woman, sorry. There's just so much more storytelling that can be done, the dynamic between the two, because what the third thing that we'll get into is the last thing, this will probably take up the most time, was the ending. The bombing of the sacred timeline. There was a bunch of branches starting off. We saw tons of them. Tons of reset charges going to places. So there's a bunch of questions from what the recharge thing was, because through the episode, they were pumping into Loki if he was actually watching the videos and paying attention to their propaganda, as he calls it, to see if he was really listening to the TVA, and he recited that the charges reset the affected area. So I'm thinking like the affected area that the variant has been in. So for them to reset everything, or if it's just too many branches for them to, to fix, I guess that's going to cause the total chaos. We don't know what it looks like. We just know that from the stuff we are told in the episode and the one before it, that's going to cause total annihilation of the timeline, or whatever the fuck they said it was. Anyway, there's so much stuff that could be done with that. There's just so many things. Could it create a multiverse? But then in itself, how could there not be a multiverse if there's a ton of different Lokis? It's like, you know what I mean? Like we saw in the hologram all these different looking Lokis. I mean, we saw a Tour de France winner Loki, which was funny as hell. So, I mean, it can't be like, there's just one set timeline, right? But is it for every incarnation of every multiversal person? Or is it just one timeline, one person? It obviously can't be. Like, so that in itself, like, there's so many, it's so ambiguous because that's the way it's supposed to be. I'm sure there's someone out there in MCU land could be like, no, did you even watch the show and listen? Jeez, you're so dumb. It's like, yes, I did, but maybe what you glean and what I glean are two different things, And I think they leave it ambiguous for this type of talk, because this show seems to be, whereas WandaVision and Falcon and Winter Soldier was more about the characters and the progression of them, where they are going next. This one seems to be where the whole MCU is going next, which is, for me, has always been more interesting. I like the character progression, don't get me wrong. I thought WandaVision was awesome. I loved it. I thought Falcon and Winter Soldier was awesome, and I loved it. It's appointment viewing in our house. We love watching that stuff, and we do it as a family. It's great. It's a lot of fun. And this show, though, just is crazy, man. There's just so much stuff that could be happening. Like in the beginning with the Hold On to a Hero song, when I heard it was so disjarring, but I was just like, I remember this from my childhood. I remember this song. There was a lot of Easter eggs in the episode too. You can go online and find them. I mean, there's tons. There's tons of Easter eggs. There's tons of fun stuff going on. What do you think episode 3 is going to entail? From the end, after we saw all the bombings of the timelines, and she left, it seems like she left that portal open for him to come through. So we're going to see what, she obviously wants to talk to him, even though she said this isn't about you. We don't know what it's about. We can only guess right now until they tell us. And I hope episode 3 is just as crazy. This is short. I just had a very long week. Hopefully next week I'll be able to do like a full episode and talk about it more. I do have something cool to do. As you recall from the other episode, I've been looking for X-Men Dawn of X Volume 8. And the other day I had a charge on my Amazon account. And I was like, what the heck? And it did. It finally got reprinted and reordered. I'm very happy, so we could start with Dawn of X. I've already read House of X and Powers of 10, and I've read up to Volume 5 of Dawn of X, so now I can go through everything, and I got 10 of Swords. So the other thing that I wanted to show you guys, the sponsor for the last episode, Corrupted Perlers, that's KORUPTIDPERLERS. I'll put it up on the screen. He did some really great work for me. He did a Marvel Comics logo and put it on a canvas for us here for the desk. Look how beautiful that is. That is so cool, man. It's all retro. It's awesome. And what's cool about it, it's going to last forever because it's made out of perler beads. This is on here forever, and he made me a DC logo, which will be revealed at a different time. But look how cool this is, man. How awesome is that? What a good dude. Does great work too. And you can take any picture, I mean, you know, and turn it into something really cool. Well, till next time, people, like and subscribe and I don't know, take care of each other and all that garbage that I'm supposed to. I don't fucking care. I was dancing before, now I'm dancing again. Dance, dance.